Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Round Up, where we cover the news of the last 24 hours in the LOL Esports space. I know yesterday I said I was going to do an LCS LEC comparison video like I did yesterday, but the caveat was if there is news, we're going over news, and we have two full boards of news as the LPL ball just continues to roll. Once Rookie and Knight kind of decided where they were going a couple days ago and that became official, everything else is falling into place. The dominoes are falling. So first things first, a little bit of LCS news. Spica was officially announced as the Flyquest jungler yesterday, as they release a player every day for the last week instead of just doing a normal team reveal. 242 KDA, 539 CS per minute, 82.2 KP, 22.9 kill share, 18.8 gold share, 4 champions in 10 games with TSM in the playoffs last year. Spica was the only player really doing anything consistent for TSM, in my opinion, all of last season. Spring better than summer, but still their best player without a doubt. Maple being second. He tried to carry. He only do so much. Some people give him a little bit of crap, but I think he is a upper half jungler in the LCS, and with Flyquest he just fills out that team that's already looking rather disgusting on paper. Now for the rest of the news, it's all LPL. So I believe maybe in my last roundup we announced Fearness had left LGD. He has joined FPX. Xiaolahu no longer listed on FPX, so Xiaolahu is free as free can be. 249 KDA, 806 CS per minute, 56.4 KP, 22.4 kill share, 22 gold share, 11 champions in 35 games, only 21 years old with LGD last year. By the way, Spica's only 21 years old right now. That's a pretty big deal given how good he is, and this is like just entering prime in my opinion. But Fearness, I think he is a downgrade from Xiaolahu for sure. I said it during my LPL free agent videos that I thought that, I admitted I like Xiaolahu, and I don't think Fearness offers quite as much as he does. LGD was a tire fire. It looks like FPX is going to take a step back this year for sure. They still haven't officially announced their jungler, however. I am seeing rumors that they may go with the Academy jungler, but when we get there, we will get there. Anyone's Legend allowed Chow Chow to leave. The support, 274 KDA, 74 3 KP, 12 champions in 37 games, 24 years old, alongside Betty, who also is out. I believe the only player still under contract with them maybe are both mid laners, Forge and Harder. It might be. Rui also left. He is the head coach. He was the head coach. I think he's now with Weibo as an assistant. Went 12-20 with Anyone's Legend last year, and over his career is 22, 58, and 8. I do not know how he got a job. When you look at that and you see yourself 12-20, okay, well, that's, you had a bad time and you got fired. 1 year, maybe too short of a leash, but when you look at his career, before he even got hired, he was 10, 38, and 8. I don't know how he got a second chance, to be honest with you. IG made a lot of moves today. So they brought in a young PCS top laner in YSKM. Played a fabulous summer split. These stats are playoffs, so we will get into why I include the playoff stats. But his summer was outstanding. I believe some people had him in MVP conversations for the PCS. Only 18 years old. He is going to be, somebody to watch for sure going into this split. He's going to compete with Zeka and Nenny, which we'll get into as well. IG are setting up similarly to how they did last year with a ton of players and a mess to try and filter through. So, YSKM, 178 KDA, 697 CS per minute, 56.3 KP, 18.3 kill share, 20.6 gold share, 3 champions in 10 games. Definitely a small champion pool across the playoffs, and he did struggle. Below 7 CS per minute is dog water. Only 18 years old. Moment could have been too big for him. I know Frank Esports, which is who he played with, some people that watched the PCS had said that they were a better best of 1 team than a, best of 5 team or whatever. And it, speaks for itself, but this guy also, this kid is a kid at the time and frankly is still very raw. The reason why I included these stats, though, is because it was his highest level of play. I feel like if you're going to try and join the LPL, I'm going to use your stats from the best games that best competition you played against, and it happened to be bad for him in the playoffs. Nenny has been promoted to compete for the job once again. 241 KDA, 813 CS per minute, 64-1 KP, 15-6 kill share, 21-3 gold share, 5 champions in 8 games in spring with the big club. So, did he look out of place? Not really. Was there a little bit left on the table? Sure. But he's also 19 years old. So, there is a lot of growth still there. It's going to be very interesting to see how IG goes through this year. Obviously, when we get closer to the split and I do my preview video for each team, we'll get into that more and how to maybe try and filter through it ourselves a bit. Tianjin, he is brought in to play jungle. Last year, he did not play at all, according to Leaguepedia. 597 KDA, 621 CS per minute, 74-3 KP, 19-2 kill share, 19-3 gold share, 5 champions in 17 games. This occurred in the LDL in spring 2021. So he hasn't played for a year and a half, and he's 18 years old now, which means he was like 16 then. So these numbers are pretty damn good when you think that the kid was a kid, literally a minor, and put up very good numbers. I know it was a different split, different meta, but there's something there for IG. There are thoughts that maybe June will be gone. Still nothing official on that front, but bringing up this kid would indicate that maybe June would be out. IG is definitely looking interesting. Mole is out. Mole has left the mid lane. 317 KDA, 749 CS per minute, 73.9 KP, 19.8 kill share, 20.3 gold share, 8 champions in 23 games, 22 years old. Mole kind of stunk this past year, and that's putting it lightly. I thought Yukai played a lot better than he did. Every time Mole played, I kind of was like, why the hell is he here? And these numbers tell me why the hell was he there. So, 22 years old, you are what you are. Hands-wise, maybe you can get better. Skill-wise, in terms of learning matchups and things like that, but his hands are not going to get any better. So, we'll see what happens. Victory 5, PP God, he is out. I kind of stuck this one in here. This almost went on the other board, but because I had to maneuver some things, because really we had so much news that the second board is completely full. There's more on the second board than on this one. So PP God's out from Victory 5, 585 KDA, 73.5 KP, 9 champions at 37 games, 22 years old. He's good. He is good, and somebody is going to be happy to get him. There are definitely some teams looking for supports. There are many good supports still out there. Mako and Ming as 2 examples, as well as a couple other releases that we'll go through. So, a lot of bot laners are going to be pretty happy to find that they're going to be alongside a good support in a month or so, right? Team World Elite, one of 2 teams that has announced their complete roster. Hang has joined from, honestly, I don't remember, but he joined. I think FPX. 653 KDA, 56, like FPX Blaze or something. 653 KDA, 569 CS per minute, 66.2 KP, 23.7 kill share, 18.5 gold share, 11 champions in 31 games, 21 years old. All these numbers occurring in the LDL. Very good numbers, obviously dominated that level. Very good KDA, a CS per minute that is certainly in the upper echelon of the meta that was in summer. We also have to take into account the LDL does do fearless draft or whatever the hell they call it, which I don't know why they call it that, but the whole you can't use the same champion twice deal. So good player. On paper, we'll see how he fares. I believe they sent View down to Academy, so this is what they're running with off the start, but like IG, Team World Elite is all over the place. Hope joins from JDG. Yes, Hope was let go simultaneously as he was signed by Team World Elite. 378 KDA, 931 CS per minute, 64.2 KP, 27.1 kill share, 23.6 gold share, 6 champions at 14 games, 22 years old. These are world stats. Hope definitely was a weak point for JDG. throughout the split and at Worlds. Missing is one, we went over this, Missing is one of the best supports in the world. Hope made it difficult on Missing. He really allowed Missing to showcase his abilities. And then Hope just entered his face-off time and time again, got behind in lane, just would make utterly terrible mistakes. You know, it was a shame because JDG were a really good team. He was the weak point. Being replaced by Ruler is definitely a sign of that. I don't know if this is going to be any better, though. Xie has left. 478 KDA, 7.8 CS per minute, 77.3 KP, 28.6 kill share, 22.3 gold share, 7 champions in 18 games. Geez, I think I just screwed up. 1 second. I know now why there was light to begin with on this board. 25 years old, though. These numbers occurred in spring. So in summer, he only played like 7 games, as Shanks played the vast majority. And Xie and Shanks went back and forth during spring, as Team World Elite allowed Shanks to kind of get his feet wet, because I believe he was very, very raw. He's probably done, 25 years old. He'll probably fit on like one of the bottom tier teams like he did this past year. I don't expect great things for Xie in terms of opportunities. Iwandi joins as support alongside Hope. He was the LNG sub last year, the backup support, split time with Lamau. 302 KDA, 72 2KP, 7 champions in 18 games, 22 years old. I didn't feel any way about Iwandi, so I guess that's good and bad. Oftentimes you feel like, I really like supports that stand out. I was going to say it's one of those roles where if you stand out, that's usually a bad thing, but it isn't. It'd be really nice if you stood out a bit. So alongside Hope, is it light? No. Is it LNG? No. So this is definitely a situation where Team World Elite are picking off players that probably don't have many options and don't cost that much. Hope might have cost a bit, but at the same time, outside of all the 80 carries that were available, Hope's probably in the middle tier. So that is a thing. So that's it for this board. On to the next one. Okay, so this second board has a lot on it, doesn't it? Weibo. Easy Hoon is now the coach. He was with them last year as an assistant, 21-11. He is now the head coach. So there's that, former SKT mid laner. And the big news. So Xiaohu was allowed to leave and has joined Weibo. So what does that mean for Angel? Apparently, there are a lot of rumors. I think I saw this past 24 hours on the Discord that he's not a happy camper. And I imagine he's not, because I don't believe he's technically a free agent, and he is now a backup. So Xiaohu, 288 KDA, 861 CS per minute, 56.8 KP, 20.5 kill share, 21.6 gold share. This occurred across 10 games at Worlds. He's 25 years old, obviously a multi-role player that has multiple championships under his belt at MSI. So very talented, one of the better players we've had in the game ever. Is he the best? Absolutely not. But is he a good player? One of the greats, probably. He's been able to do a lot of things other people can't do. Definitely more of a facilitator, roamer, mid laner. These numbers at Worlds, half the games he had COVID. Well, the whole team had COVID, so I guess he did too, right? But 861, he did well in lane, but he gave up in the KP department, not really getting into as many fights, with 56%, which is extremely low for Xiaohu. I think people do have to remember that at MSI he played outstanding. Really set the tone and the meta at that tournament. And I think people really have a short-term memory when it comes to stuff like that. That this guy is still very talented. And I think you'll be fine with Weibo, with the rumored roster of Karsa and the Shy, and I think it was like Light and I forget who the support was. But nevertheless, LGD. So XQW was brought up. I looked it up on Twitter. He is joining the team officially. He has a great flow of hair, by the way. Check out the Leaguepedia page, and you will be impressed by the amount of hair he has. So 3 KDA, 859 CS per minute, 70.4 KP, 23.2 kill share, 22.9 gold share, 10 champions of 32 games in the LDL. This past summer was the real first time he's done very well at that level. I looked through his numbers earlier today trying to figure out who the heck he was before realizing he was officially on the team. And his numbers were not very good until this past split. So LGD, like I said yesterday or the day before, they are, well, definitely going with a budget look this year. So he's going to be battling with, I believe, Hai Chow, who's still there. LPC joins. LPC was JDG's 80 carry at times during spring, replaced by Hope. And, I mean, Hope did very well. So we just talked about Hope and how he inted his face off, right? And he was the detriment to the team. But he also won the job over LPC. And to be honest, if LPC was a starter the whole year, do they get to where they are? Leave your thought in the comments below. But 219 KDA, 837 CS per minute, 68.6 KP, 29.4 kill share, 22.7 gold share, 4 champions in only 5 games. I might have said more than 5 games earlier. It was 5 games. 2 of them being Ziggs, which he played terrible farm. He had terrible farm, so that's why his CS is so low. Very small sample size. It's still only 21 years old, so there is potential there. I think this is a downgrade from Assume, but we'll get into Assume in a minute because he is on a team now. OMG, so Team World Elite announced their roster. OMG announced theirs. OMG somehow were able to raise enough funds to say to themselves, we do not have to sell off our 2 best players in Shanji and Cream. OMG, once again, are going into the year with a lot of hype as a team that has a lot of potential. Munin is somebody they've brought up in top lane. I don't know why. It's just going to make it so that the guy doesn't get any stage time. But 363 KDA, 818 CS per minute, 63.4 KP, 18.9 gold share. 18.9 kill share, sorry. 22 gold share. 12 champions at 32 games in the LDL. Age is not listed, so I don't have a clue how old he is. I just know that he is not playing over Shanji unless Shanji does poorly. And these numbers aren't great. They're better than my thresholds, but at the same time, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. Cold has left, so they've went with Jerry at support, and this kind of made sense. Cold didn't look great last year, but they're keeping Abel. 258 KDA, 72.9 KP, 14 champions at 36 games, 25 years old. So Cold is a free agent. He might be done. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I didn't think Jerry looked great either. And really the hard part with Jerry was a lot of the times they played Jerry 09 played, I believe, which kind of just threw off all of OMG and myself. Despair is the head coach. Excuse me, he was the coach for FPX in spring, going 8-8. That's his only coaching that's on Leaguepedia. The best news of the day for me, Thundertalk signed Wanfeng, which I think is awesome. Thundertalk obviously being my darling in summer, an analytical masterpiece that couldn't get it done. Bechuan is a great jungler. Wanfeng is only 21 years old and is in my top 5 bot laners if you missed that video. 571 KDA, 96 CS per minute, 66.8 KP, 28.9 kill share, 24.9 gold share, 11 champions in 41 games. I believe I said it in that bot lane video. Or what? No, I said it when Weibo announced he was gone. So that was a couple days ago. Only 3 of his champions were under 9.5 CS per minute, bringing it down to 9.6. Both Sivir and Zeri were above 11. He gets ahead in his matchup almost all the time. He is great. Really think back a couple years ago when he came onto the scene as a very young player, and he is still just getting better. And he is cracked. BLG. So a few players have left. Both mid laners, Fofo and Icon, as well as their support Crisp. So Fofo, 328 KDA, 81 CS per minute, 72.3 KP, 14.1 kill share, That's extremely low. 21 gold share, 8 champions in 15 games, 23 years old. So, gets behind in his matchup at 8.1. That's about below 8.5, which is what I would say is a average for a mid laner. And then the 14 kill share literally doesn't get any kills, but he does get in a decent amount of fights at 72%. Fofo, at 23 years old, he is what he is. There are rumors that he might go to EDG. That is a downgrade from Scout. Icon also played because Fofo did so sus. They said, we're going to bring this old player out of retirement. And the old player did better than Fofo. 333 KDA, so he beat him there. 856 CS per minute, beat him there. 67.5 KP, gives a little bit away. Gets into 4% less fights, but also gets 1 farm every other minute ahead. 21.2 kill share, 21.9 gold share, 9 champions of 27 games, 26 years old, will be 27 next year. I doubt Icon really gets as many games as he just did with BLG with somebody else this next year. Maybe he does in a team, like Shie, same deal. The opportunities are probably limited. Crisp, the support is out, 369 KDA, 77.7 KP, 14 champions, 42 games, 14 years old. I think Crisp was fine this past year. You got to take into account he was going between 3 different bot laners all year. You've got Doggo, Uzi, and Rise. 3 very different situations, right? Uzi, obviously one of the best, if not the best, AD carry of all time. And then you have Doggo, who is a hot player that did great in the PCS and, has some name value and is good. And then you have Rise, who's a complete random. So, I mean, it was tough sledding for him. And BLG going back and forth between their mid laners, between their junglers. Just a complete disaster. Speaking of BLG, a player also left that I did not mention, and we'll get into it right now. So, Ultra Prime announces that King is joining in mid. King had a 5.4 KDA, 811 CS per minute, 74.3 KP, 31.2 kill share, 22.4 gold share, 5 champions in 14 games, is 20 years old. These numbers occurred at Asia Stars Challenge for FPX. That was an academy tournament between the LCK Challenger teams, LDL, I believe some VCS and PCS teams were there. So it was, a tournament between the Challenger teams, and they did quite well. Is he ready? His LDL numbers were pretty good. But, I mean, is he better than Cryan? I don't know about that. And I'm not even saying Cryan is that great. I'm just saying that, you're going in a younger direction. Okay. Now, the next move they made rules out Teddy, in my opinion. So, they're rumored to be going after Teddy, and now they signed Doggo, who I just was talking about being a player with some namesake, and he's a good player. 19 years old. Or, wait, I don't have it written down. I believe he's 19 years old. 392 KDA, 953 CS per minute, 68.5 KP, 28.6 kill share, 23.9 gold share, 10 champions in 31 games. Doggo is fine. Is he Teddy? No. But he's good, and I don't know what this means for Teddy. I don't know where he's going. There are many LPL teams without a AD carry, but I believe all the LCK teams are accounted for, so I don't know where he's going. It'd be a shame if he ended up not without a team at this point in his career. Really can't afford to take a year off. Baolan has joined Ultra Prime as well, coming out of retirement, just like his buddy Ning. 276 KDA, 61.4 KP, 6 champions in 13 games, 23 years old. These stats came from spring 2021, so he has been away from the game for a year and a half. Former world champion. He's been around for a long time, actually, despite his age. We'll see what happens. He's alongside Doggo. Ultra Prime, there are a lot of question marks with this team. We'll see how it fills out when it's all said and done. They sounded like they wanted to spend money, and I guess this is their version of spending money. Rare Atom, They have made some moves. Assume has joined, so like I said earlier with LGD, Assume has went to Rare Atom. Another team that had been rumored to want to spend big, Prince Lahens was a rumor, and instead they go with Assume and Southwind, so that is a downgrade. Assume 239 KDA, 91 CS per minute, 69.5 KP, 31.4 kill share, 25.1 gold share, 10 champions at 39 games, 19 years old. He was 18 years old for the majority of the year. Rookie, I thought he did fine. At times he carried actually for LGD, was the only player actually doing anything for them in summer. I thought he did fine. Is he Prince? No. So these players that they were in talks with, yes, they ended up losing out and they are taking what they can get. You know, there are worse players out there. There are older players out there I wouldn't take versus just taking Assume. So take that for what you will. Southwind comes from Thundertalk. He joins 4.7 KDA, 75.8 KP, 8 champions in 11 games, 26 years old. This 11-game sample size is small, is what it is, because I think he had a health problem in summer that resulted in Puff and Southwind being pulled and Kepler and Yao Yao playing instead. And they went with Kepler and Yao Yao the rest of the way. And Puff and Southwind did fine when they played, actually. So, is he done? Maybe. He's 26 years old. We'll see. We'll see. I don't have high expectations for Rare Atom this year. Long is the head coach. He's 43 and 67 all time. He had been let go by OMG also today. So it was like simultaneous on Leaguepedia. I mean, he could have been let go days ago, but we didn't see it until now. BKR was brought up from Rare Atom's LDL team. 242 KDA, 66.8 KP, 12 champions, 37 games. So he will be battling Southwind for the support role. So, you know, going to have an older support, maybe teach him as they go along, and maybe they alternate back and forth. Top allowed Zoo to go. Zoo went 2.6 KDA, 71.3 KP, 7 champions in 13 games in spring, 21 years old. I don't know if he finds a job. He should, but no guarantees. So that's just kind of, you know, the end of this video. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, comment down below. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. If there's not news tomorrow, that's when the LEC LCS video will be done. All my research is done. I just have to record the video. So that is that. Join the Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Become a YouTube member. $3 a month will support me. Keeps the channel alive so I can do this. And I can get to January where I'll live view all the games across all 4 major regions. $10 a month supports me for that same reason. You get a little badge in the comment section. You do it $3 a month as well. And you get NFL American football content. This week, those 2 videos will come out tomorrow and Friday instead of Saturday. And then when League starts, that's where all my prediction content goes. So in my roundup, which is what this is, there's not a lot of news during the year. It's more so recapping games and previewing the next day's games. And when I preview the next day's games, I give you a preview of what's happening. And then I will stop the video and then hit start recording again and just say who I think is going to win those games and why, for those that legally bet in those sorts of things for $10 a month. So if that sort of stuff interests you, become a member, at least by next month or for next month. And thank you for watching.